Hello, and happy Saturday to everybody here. I just got done in the gym, doing some sauna here. I feel fantastic, plus I ate on top of that too, because, you gotta refill, you gotta refuel everything that goes along with that. But this is Ed Talk, and this is going to be a special edition of Ed Talk here today, because I'm going to sit down live on air and take the political compass test. We are doing chat. We will have the chat up here in just a moment here, because... well, I want to see what you guys are saying. We're going to Instagram. We're going to see how long we can take this over on Instagram. But it's not the middle of the morning here with all the phlegm and stuff coming up out of my nose. So we might be able to do the whole stream. I want to give a fair warning off of this. I have no idea how long this is going to take. I have never taken the 8 values test. I have taken the political compass test before, and it took quite a while, in spite of the fact that it's telling me that it's only 6 pages with a few questions on each. But I want to see if I can beat my high score with the political compass test anyway. Like I say, I've never taken the 8 values. It took just a little under 2 hours to do the 6-page political compass test the last time I did it. But I was also trying to fight over Robert and John over on the generational gap, which is no more. But I want to see if I can beat my high score. Now, my high score on the political compass test, and I consider this to be an achievement. 3 spaces in from the right side, 2 spaces up from the bottom. That's my high score. I want to see if we can beat that today. But I'm going to be honest with it. It's been 3 years. Maybe things have changed. So let's see what's going on over here. Let's get live chat up here. Let's get a monitor up here so we can see who's watching here. Chilaga is over here today. High Leaf is here. Can't write much while he's at work. Katie Z is here. Katie Z, I'm guessing. Will you also, Ed, have the chat answer too? No, I'm not going to do the chat answer. I'm just going to do my own, because with these 2 tests, the second one's 70 questions, we are going to be here for a while. I can go for a while, and we might power down the Instagram after this and go back for some Fallout 4. I pay for restreams so we can change topics on the fly here. We might go back and do a little bit of that coming up here yet today too, but definitely above anything else, I want to take some time and do this for you guys. And I just want to see where I'm at too, especially the 8 values. I'm most curious about that because I've never taken that test before. But I think it's time for us to get started. We need to talk about Crystal Kaiser. But all my libertarian friends said that she did nothing wrong. So they tell me that tells me that I'm supposed to believe that she did nothing wrong. I'll text you after I'm done here, by the way. I think I'm going to take you up on the Monday offer because this was so last minute and you were such a saint to help me out at the last minute. But I do need to catch up and start scheduling people for December now that I know that I have a December. So let's get started. I think it's time to come back and do this. So this is... let's get the news feed up here. We'll do this with the contemporary screen. This is the political compass test, 20 years. This has been used for quite a while, and it is in numerous languages. It is absolutely in numerous languages. English, German. I just about said Dutch, which pretty much is German at this point. Some Cyrillic language whose flag I don't recognize. Names I don't recognize. Polish I know. Portuguese. Romanian. I don't know that one. Is that Ukrainian? And Turkey. I know Turkey. I know that one here. So I mean, this is not just an American English test. This is... They do this all over the place. They say it's accurate. I don't know if it's accurate. It got me pretty well pegged on the Boeing. But we'll see what happens with this. So here we're going to get started. Page 1 of 6. Number 1. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. Well, I mean, if we're going to be globalized, it should affect everybody, not just corporations. This is a hard one for me to actually think about, because I know that, yes, everything we should be doing should be for humanity. It should be for the individual, not necessarily the corporation. I'm going to go with agree on that. I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong. If anybody has heard me rail against George W. fucking Bush, you already know how I'm going to answer that. Strongly disagree. No one chooses their country of birth, but it's foolish to be proud, or so it's foolish to be proud of it. I disagree with that, actually. Not strongly disagree, but I do disagree with that. You don't choose where you're born, but if you are, like, if a bunch of people come together and do something awesome, you should be proud of it. If they do something that sucks, then you should call them out on it. But if a bunch of people come together and absolutely do something awesome, you should be proud of it. So, I'm going to disagree with that. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. I disagree with that. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses, and I'm an individualist. I'm not going to go with strongly disagree on that one. I'm just going to go with regular disagree. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I disagree with that. Sometimes the enemy of my enemy is just an asshole. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. I strongly disagree with that, and I don't believe in international law, and I still strongly disagree with that. I strongly disagree with that. Beat me up, Mr. Scott is here. Hello, J. Edgar. What else do we have here? Katie Zed's mad at me as a Crystal Kaiser. Look, I don't know enough about that. Because everybody who's talking about it is coming in from their own biases. I need to find a way to disconnect from everybody and do an independent study of what they see in order to draw a conclusion on that. I really do. I really, really do. Beat me up, Mr. Scott is here. If someone works hard on something and the group comes along and shuts it down, what do you think of that? Well, that's not on the particular quiz right now, so we're going to focus on the quiz right now. If somebody works hard on something, though, and a group comes along and shuts it down, I think they're assholes. Chilaga says, I had no idea who Crystal was. I just Googled. Yeah, it's because, like I say, everybody's coming at us with their own set of biases. I don't know what happened there, because this went completely under the radar until the Rittenhouse thing, which tells me that this is politically motivated to try to get something up here. That affects how it's portrayed. Alright, but I strongly disagree with that. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. That I actually agree with. Like, people can't separate now. I don't want to say strongly disagree, because there are still people who can. There are people, I don't want to do any politics whatsoever. I don't care about politics. There are people out there like that, but yeah, politics, and especially politics, not just information, but especially politics. But I mean, to watch a documentary or to pick up a new skill for entertainment, like fixing a car or that's not worrying. So I'm just going to hit agree with that. I agree with that. You definitely have a different view of sovereign law than I do. Well, let's not try to affect my view right now. Test. Now is the economy. We're talking attitudes here, not the FTSE index. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. I actually really agree with that. It's the haves and the have-nots. I really agree with that. I might actually go strongly agree with that. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. I agree with that too. Because you can't print your way out of unemployment. But you can fuck a lot of people by trying to print your way out of a bad economy. If people can't eat, they will find a way to eat. And it might not just be going out and getting the traditional 9 to 5. It might be, especially in the gig economy, it might be grabbing an Uber. It might be walking around and it might be grabbing some finishing nails and picking stuff up off the side of the road and reselling it. Those people would still be considered, well, not the Uber driver, but the person who's picking trash off the side of the road, grabbing some finishing nails. Like, I just picked a chest of drawers. It's up in my hallway over here. I just picked that up for free. It was a big sign on it that said free. Now, it turns out it belonged to the people across the hall. So, given the fact that this building is on a hill, kind of wish I'd have known about that before they drug it all the way down the hill, and then I had to drag it all the fucking way back up the hill. But it legitimately needs 4 finishing nails. It's either going to be against that wall over there, or it's going on the marketplace for $50. For the price of 4 finishing nails, I can turn around and make $50. And if I were unemployed in doing that, because there are people who walk around to do that. They're still considered to be unemployed, but they're still contributing. So yes, controlling inflation is way more important than controlling unemployment. I will eat your ass! I think these quizzes are biased to begin with. Katie said will eat her neighbors. I will eat your ass! Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. No, they do not. They just need to have the books taken wide open so everybody knows how shitty they are with the environment. No, when you start throwing regulation into there, you start killing jobs and you start sending jobs to places that don't give a fuck about the environment. No, I strongly disagree with that. Yeah, now we find out that Ed has a secret authoritarian in him. Here's the thing. How am I further right than Seawall? I'm not going to share his, because that was shared in confidence. That wasn't put in a public forum. But I've looked at his. I am 2 points further to the right than Seawall, and I don't know how the fuck that works. I don't get it. My far-right friend, and I'm further to the right than he is. Now, I am considerably further down the libertarian end of the spectrum, so there's that, but... From each according to his ability to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. Nope. I think everybody knew where I was going with that one. The freer the market, the freer the people. Yes, sir. Because they can go and try to find a way to make money off of what they do best. Not what they're forced to do to try and keep food in their tummies. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product. No, I strongly disagree with that. You know why? Because people will pay money for the service, instead of having to go and filter and treat and purify themselves. We have somebody out there who looked up and said, "It is my dream to purify water." To quote a great socialist, that's a good thing. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. Strongly disagree. If you don't have land, get land. I'm working on that myself right now, because I don't have land. But I'm working on getting land. Lots and lots of land. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. Well, right here, this part of this I completely disagree with, because the people who have personal fortunes, and this is the thing that the left doesn't understand. The political left doesn't understand. These people are not sitting in a big bin. I mean, this is not a Scrooge McDuck money bin. if they have money in a bit, I explained this the other day. And I mean, even the housing market is flying away with this too. And it's devaluing people's currency in the housing market. But, you know, like I said on Thanksgiving, if you've got $100,000 in savings or a $100,000 house, and it's only one or the other, your $100,000 in savings is almost certainly, with inflation, going to go down in value over the years. The house is almost certainly going to go up, if ever so slightly, unless you destroy that motherfucker. It's going to go up in value. And it's the same thing with these people with these personal fortunes. They can stick that in a money bin and let it devalue itself by inflation all they want. Or they can invest in business, create jobs, create a better product with it, create automation out of it. Find people, pay people to automate things, buy land. There are so many things that they can do to create this wealth, and they don't just let it sit. That's the thing. So it's not just that they simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to society. That manipulation of money is contributing something to society. So no, I strongly disagree with that. Let's see, Katie Z says, when I was unemployed, I bought designer stuff from the Goodwill in the rich neighborhood and resold it on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. I made enough not only to get by, but I took a vacation too. Awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing with this, and this kind of renewed my passion to do this. For a while, last year, I was trying to, and there wasn't a lot of it because people were doing off so well, but go in the Facebook Marketplace and find anything for free. Look at it, and a lot of the times it's in working conditions, just people don't want to deal with selling it. Fix any little thing that's wrong with it, turn around and sell the fucking thing. Let's see. Beam me up, Mr. Scott says CT, CCC, TTT, G, TTG, TT, G, TT, GT. Okay. Katie Z found a place that's perfect for me, Eastern Tennessee. Does it come with a wife? Because that may be negotiable. Beam me up says, I would term it unfortunate rather than regrettable because I'm not a usurist. This song has a Super Mario vibe. I don't remember which one it was. Loaning money is different than the usury. Yes it is. Alright. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. I strongly disagree with that. No, I'm going to move that one to just a regular disagree. Because I just regularly disagree with that. Now you should be protecting your own interests, of course. That's why I moved that to disagree. But whoever makes the best product should be able to sell that product. The best, the cheapest, etc. And that's part of what we're dealing with supply chain issues too. Now, yes, you can get a lot better cheap shit from China to fill your Walmart shelves, but how is that working right now with hundreds of thousands of ships docked off of California, containers lying the fuck everywhere, and no trucks to bring them out of fucking California? A lot of those products right there, right now, in this particular climate, would be better off made in the United States. Why? Because it's here. It can get to the store. We don't have to wait for a port. We still have to wait for a truck, and that's the other thing, is a lot of these truckers won't drive in California because they have such restrictive laws on their trucks. I know a particular trucker, or ex-trucker, like that. His name is Saint, and I don't blame him one fucking bit. Let's see. Seawall strongly agrees with protectionism. I used to, and then I thought about it a lot. Mr. Scott says, our whole currency is based on the use of force by the government to exclude. I think Katie's still here. She wasn't here that long ago. Alright, what else do we have? The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. No? Well, I disagree with that. That should be one facet to it. But the responsibility of a company should be to deliver product or a good or a service. That's what they're there for. If a few people get rich off to the side too, that's called an investment. So I disagree with that. The rich are too highly taxed. I strongly agree with that. Taxation is theft. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Yes, that's called the free market. And you know what? If people can pay because the procedure is too expensive, then Mr. Doctor over there doesn't get his filet mignon. See, if people can't pay, then they don't go. So the natural balance of that is to lower the prices so people can pay and they come in and get the thing done. Insurance fucked this up to begin with. Health insurance fucked this up to begin with. And then the government getting involved in health insurance just spiraled that shit way out of control. Government should Nope. I don't even have to finish that one. Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Now, somebody, let's take that to disagree. Not strongly disagree, because now, if you're stupid enough, like the tornado thing that goes into your intake pipe on your car, that does not do a goddamn thing. But if you're stupid enough to go and buy it, you deserve that. Now, if somebody dies, that's going to be a little bit of a different story. That's why I dropped that to disagree. Because there is that caveat. If somebody fucking dies, then yes, that's one of the few functions of the government. There are few. There are very few. Don't hurt people and don't take your stuff. And let the government decide how to deal with people who hurt people and take their stuff. But if you're just selling a worthless piece of fucking tinfoil for $50 on late night cable TV and somebody buys it, that person didn't need that $50. Beam Me Up says our currency is based on protectionism. Unfortunately. Katie says cooking dinner. Neff says moving on up the east side. Not yet, but it's a 10-year plan. I have some homework for you, should you choose to accept it. I have a playlist on my front page called What is Money? But what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. By Canadian lawyer Paul McKeever. He actually goes over a bunch of stuff and dispels some of the myths about what money actually is. COL says if a company makes a claim on a product, they have to uphold it. They can exaggerate, of course, but there must be some proof to it. I need to stay close to my mom until she's in the nursing home or somewhere that she has 24-hour care. That's lame. I hate to hear that. That means somebody's ill. Alright, last one, then we'll do the next page. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. That's not a free market. See, this sentence right here makes absolutely zero sense. Just by this part. The last clause, if we take this last clause right here out of this sentence here makes zero sense. It's an oxymoron. A genuine free market requires restrictions. That's not a genuine free market. That is in no way a genuine free market. So, nope, that's a strong disagree. All right, next page. Illist, says Nephilim. All right, let's take a look at some of your personal social values. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. I'm not going to go strongly agree with that. Now, in person, I strongly agree with that. Once again, we're back to the side of don't hurt people and don't take their stuff. But when you make something like this illegal, there are the desperate people. I can't be pregnant. I can't carry his baby, who will go to whatever needs that they need to. And possibly do more harm to themselves or the baby. I don't like the fact that this is the way that we have to do it, that we have come to a point in our society where this is even an option. I hate that. I absolutely detest that. But I very much agree that it shouldn't be. All authority should be questioned. You all know how I'm going to answer that. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I disagree with that. If you are harmed by somebody, you guys should be able to sit down and talk it out like men. Find the best solution for that. If it does come down to be an eye for an eye, that's between the two of you. Especially if the harm is inadvertent. It's an accident. But you should be able to come out and, you shouldn't even have to get a government involved. You guys should be able to come out and say, okay, you broke my stereo. What are we going to do about this? Are you going to get me a new stereo? Are you going to fix it? Are you going to find a way to pay off your debt? Whereas if it was just an eye for an eye, it would be, oh, you broke my stereo. Well, then I have to take your stereo. You see where you come into problems with some of this? Now, I agree there should be some sort of retribution, but it shouldn't be like for like, is where I'm going with it. All right, what else? Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Yeah, I agree with that. They shouldn't be expected to. Now, if they want to put some money together in a community, and it's voluntary, cool. Hey, you got a nice new theater, funded by the people of your community. But it's the force, it's the expectation that I don't agree with. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. I agree with that. Everybody should have a basic education, but they should have the option for homeschool. They should have the option for private school. But you really are depriving your children if you don't get them to some sort of classical education. If nothing else, just at least to learn basic mathematics and reading. You are really depriving your children. But hell, if you can do it yourself, if you can teach them that yourself, more power to you. All right, all people have their rights, but it's better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. I strongly disagree with that. You meet so many interesting people by going out of your comfort zone. I mean, on paper, I don't think on paper anybody would expect me, anti-authoritarian, leave me alone political ideology, to get along with a person like Seawall. We'll use Seawall as an example for that. I don't think on paper anybody would see him and I getting along because we're very different on our definitions of authority and what that means, but I consider him to be one of my best friends. Absolutely do. You should always take a chance and strike out outside of your tribe. You'll never know who you're going to meet. Good parents should sometimes have to spank their children. I agree with that. Now, as you get older, you should start moving away from that. But in the younger, it's an association of a pain response to a bad action. Before somebody has the ability to be cognizant of why it's wrong. You know, you walk around, oh shit, my ass hurts. Well, fuck, I ain't gonna do that again. Although you probably, in that kind of household, you probably get your ass beat again for saying that. I think that sometimes a lot of parents take that too old. I think by like 6 or 7, you're cognizant enough that you don't need to have a pain response to know what's wrong. By 6 or 7, it's time to start moving away from that. But before that, I mean, you tell somebody, you tell your kid, your 4-year-old kid, don't throw the remote in the sand. They don't know why it's wrong. They just think that it's cool and you can use it as a dating tool. But by 6 or 7, you can explain to them why you can't dig with the thing. And yes, I know that there are parents who do this up into the, sometimes up into the teens, and that I don't believe in. And I'm not talking like an injury spank either. That's the other thing. You don't wind up full swing. Just enough of a little bit of a pain response to get their attention. Their little bodies are fragile. You don't have to go full strength on it. It is natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Yes, in all ages. It's part of society. There's no reason for everybody to be all the way open all the time. We're not we're not telepaths. Where everybody's mind is open to everybody. Yes, absolutely. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Strongly agree. There's no reason to criminalize that shit. Legalize all the drugs. Let nature sort it out. But the caveat is there's no welfare either in that system. Nature will sort it out in a hurry. It's cruel, but nature will sort it out in a hurry. The prime function of schooling should be to equip future generations to find jobs. Yeah. Of course it is. Because if they don't have the education, they can't do anything. They can't read. They can't do math. They can't do anything like that. They can't function in daily society, which includes getting a job. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. I do not agree with that. I do not agree with that in the least. Now, if they voluntarily don't want to, my ex-fiance and my ex-fiance had myotonic dystrophy. We wanted to have children together and we wanted to have natural birth children, but we were looking at an egg donor because her myotonic dystrophy was it was very inheritable. We wanted to have children, still to have the raising of children, but she was taking the precaution knowing that it was genetically possible and obviously very likely to be passed along, so we wanted to take the other step. The most important thing for children is to learn is to accept discipline. Guidance, maybe. See, discipline takes into the authoritarian. I'm really torn on this one. I really am. Because you do need to have some level of discipline in order to function. But the vast majority of your discipline, the vast majority of your discipline comes from an authoritarian figure, it doesn't work as well as if you've taken the time to do a lot of self-discipline. I don't know about this one. I'm going to go with disagree on that. Just because of the self-discipline aspect of it. That's a hard one for me, though. Because I am so deep into self-discipline of myself, but that's something that I have had to learn on my own. I don't know. There are no savage and civilized people. There are only different cultures. I can agree with that to an extent. There are different cultures, but I still think it's savage if you want to rip somebody's heart out of their chest while it's beating and eat it as a punitive measure. That is a different culture, but I would consider that savage as well. There are no really feral people. I think that's what they're trying to go with savage, but I mean, it's still a cultural thing. I don't agree with it. But human beings are tribal, and they do tend to form up a society on their own, even if they're absent of society. So those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. I strongly agree with that. Now, once again, this goes back into what I said earlier, the personal charity side of it. There are always going to be people who look around and say, what can I spend my money on? And some of them that want to come out and feed the hungry. Elon Musk is a perfect example of this right now. He is working with the WHO, and it looks like he's going to sell off a bunch of Tesla stock to do it. But he's doing that voluntarily without the intervention of a government. I think it's going to fail spectacularly because, well, it's not the WHO, it's the UN. I think it's going to fail spectacularly because it's all going to get caught up in the UN bullshit. But he is volunteering $6 billion if they can show a bulletproof plan as to how this could end world hunger and not move the goalposts. That's voluntary. People are going to do that all the time. You shouldn't expect it, but you should be grateful for it if it happens. Let's see. Beat me up, Mr. Scott says, political compass, you might as well be posting on 4chan. Yeah, this is totally rigged. Rigged! F this, I can't stand it. Well, sorry to see you go, beat me up, Mr. Scott. Katie Zed says North Sentinel Island, just saying, oh, are they feral up there? I didn't know about that. Let's see, what else do we... I missed a bunch of stuff here. I don't think a kid would want to learn math unless it's compulsory. You would be surprised. I was actually really into math as soon as I figured it back out. Cielo says, I only slightly agreed with that one. This is definitely a glow quiz. This is definitely a glow quiz. Best friend, never had one of those. If they're good parents, they should not have to resort to violence. And like I said, it is to an extent of where your cognitive abilities are. A couple smack on the ass doesn't do permanent damage. The point is to leave a mental scar. Teach a lesson. Is that bad? I think it's rough, but not necessarily bad. Chilaga says, I'm back, says the special boy. Chilaga is a special boy. When you're troubled, it's better not to think about it, but keep busy with more cheerful things. No, I pretty strongly disagree with that. You got to get to the bottom of your demons. I tried for a long time to keep busy with stuff here. Didn't work. first-generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. I disagree with that. Some of them refuse to, but they can. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. No, I strongly disagree. As an individualist, I strongly disagree with that. What's good for one person is not going to be good for another person. It's not going to be good for a lot of people. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. I disagree with that. Well, once again, if it's volunteered, if they get an endowment and some rich peckerhead out there says, "My goodness, Muriel, I have all of this extra money that I need in a tax write-off. I will donate it to NPR." That's on him, but it shouldn't be compulsory. That's still public funding, but it's not compulsory at that point. How you see the wider society. Oh, this is going to be some good news. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. I strongly agree with that. Although it is fun to go to the TSA guy, and, you know, it's been a while since I've flown because of the pinko fucking pox, but it is fun, especially when you're a dude and it's a dude. When you're getting felt up by the TSA guy and you scream out loudly in the crowded Midway airport, "This is a TSA search, not a date, Jerry." They don't like that very much, though. They really don't. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. That's a disadvantage. That's a significant disadvantage. That's like Anakin and Padme sitting on Naboo. "I think all the people should be put in a room and made to talk it out until they agree with everything. And what if they can't agree? Well, then they should be forced to." Who's going to force them? You? Fuck that. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. "You ain't got nothing to hide, then you shouldn't worry about them going in there." No. That is, bring me the man and I'll find you the crime. No. If they're mad enough at you, for whatever reason, even if you've done nothing wrong, they will find something wrong that you've done. Even if they have to make a new law to make sure that they found something wrong that you've done. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. I agree with caveats. Like, there has got to be irrefutable evidence. Because you can't go back months afterwards and say, "Oops, sorry. Necromancy doesn't exist." And let's be completely honest, it'd be completely fucking creepy if it did. But yes, at some point, there are some people who cannot be healed to society. What makes it right? I don't have the answer for that. That I actually don't have the answer for. That's something I've been wrestling with as my stance has shifted on the death penalty. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. What is this, the Brotherhood of Steel? No, I disagree with that. Strongly. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. I strongly disagree with that. If you have something, even if it's a bunch of weird shapes, and somebody comes up and says, "Ooh, that's pretty. Here's 10 million bucks." That's between you and the person who had way too much fucking money. In a criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. I disagree with that, but not strongly. You should at least attempt to try and bring somebody back up to societal level. There should still be an aspect of punishment to it. They done wrong. They deserve the proverbial belt, but you should want to re-societize these people so they don't meet up with the Aryan Brotherhood while they're in and come back out and commit more crimes so they can go back and be with the Aryan Brotherhood again. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. I agree with that. There are some who refuse. There are some who are so mentally damaged that they can't be rehabilitated. It shouldn't be the prison industrial complex by any means, but, I mean, bring back the asylum. There are people who are so mentally deranged that they should be in the mental hospital rather than a prison. You can't rehabilitate some of these people. A maniac who beats 9 people to death with a steel dildo while wearing a Bugs Bunny suit is probably not going to be healed back to society. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Who says? I disagree with that. Once again, if somebody wants to buy the art from the artist, that artist is pretty important to the person who wants to buy it. You're no judge to that. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. I disagree with that. It is what works best in each individual family. And it's not going to be the same for everybody. There are going to be trends. There are going to be trends that go along with gender lines that make it the same for a lot of people. But it's not going to be the same for everybody. A female software developer and a chronic gas station worker fall in love greatly. They work well together and they want to put children into the world. She makes $150,000 a year. He's lucky to make 20, and he's no good at software development. That'd be a situation where it wouldn't be best for her to be the homemaker. Now, yes, she'll have more nurturing instincts, of course, but this is a highly individualized one. And yes, there are group trends. I understand that. That's why I had the caveat there. There are trends that go along with that. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. If that's the only way for a developing country to develop, is to get in bed with a multinational corporation, I don't like it, but somewhere the government did the best for their people, or tried to. Or they were corrupted, one of the two, but regardless, a transaction was made. I disagree with that. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Yeah. No. Fuck the establishment. Five of 6. If you got through that okay, you'll find these propositions on religion a breeze. We've been going for almost an hour already, just on the one test. Like I said, I don't know how long this is going to take. Astrology accurately explains many things. No, it doesn't. Astrology convinces people that it accurately explains many things. Many of these people are very gullible. They will give money over to go figure this out. And then put vague terms in there and say, oh my god, this is exactly like me. You cannot be moral without being religious. I disagree, but I don't strongly disagree. It helps a lot to be religious, to be moral, but you don't have to be. I was non-religious for a long time, and I took a point long before I went back into religion and realized how dumb I was being, how immoral I was being. I was not religious. I was just a fuck-up. Charity is better than Social Security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. Yes, it is. Because you know what? The government will absolutely take off way too much off the top. It's administrative costs. You took 90% of it. We had a lot of administration. Some people are naturally unlucky. No, I disagree with that. We make our own luck. It is important that my child's school instills religious values. No. I will instill the religious values in my child. And if I choose to do so through a school, it will be because that school already has my religious values that I've already been instilling. I don't need the government to do that. Spinach and ricotta ravioli with ground turkey and creamy tomato sauce. Man, I miss carbs. Next page. Me, go grab this for the Discord for High Leaf because I actually got this from John. The other one is in my Discord, but I didn't put this one in there because I got it from John. I actually got it from Seawall too, I think. I got it from both. Seawall answered before John did, but I got the same link from both of them. I didn't realize it was that fucking easy either. To High Leaf it goes! Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Are we talking the actions or the sentiment behind it? I disagree with that. But you should be trying to get wed at some point here too. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. I agree with that. I really do. Are the values going to be the same? No. Are there going to be some problems down the line? Probably. But I really do agree with that. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be illegal for the adult population. Still bad, but I agree with it. If you want to drive yourself into a gutter and waste all your hormones on porno and beat off 25 times a day, that ain't my business. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. I strongly agree with that. There's been some fucked up shit that's gone on inside my bedroom. Most of it had to do with an insane fucking stalker, but there's been some messed up stuff up there. I'm actually pretty vanilla in bed. But, man, that girl was crazy. No one can feel naturally homosexual. I disagree with that. I don't know, because I've never had that inkling. But I bet you there's some natural inkling to that. I mean, if there wasn't, we wouldn't have Rent. Or the Pirates of Penzance, for that matter. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. I agree with that. Not strongly agree, but I do agree with that. I mean, sex sells. That's one thing, and it's not something we're going to get away from. But, and this is, I made this We were talking about the Pride Parade at work the other day, and I made this example out of it. I mean, it's cool. If you wanna, how did the R-rated conservative put it last night? If you wanna suck on that veiny cigar, I mean, that's cool. And if you want to get married, all the power to you. I'll march with you on that if you want to go get married. It devalues the state contract, and I don't believe in the state contract. I believe in the religious aspect of marriage. I don't believe in the state contract. I think the state contract is utterly bullshit. But the problem I have with it is, yeah, it's cool that you want to go get married to another dude. Do I have to watch you walking around in assless chaps with a dildo up your ass to do it, though? That's the problem I have. Now let's see where you stand. Let's see if I beat my high score. All right, about the political compass. The starting point of the original political compass was in 2001 when we recognized the inadequacies of the standard political measure. Left to right, it's certainly fine for discussing economics, but to this day is still widely and wrongly used to describe the social attitudes. France's National Front, for example, is popularly described as far right, yet its economic policies have sometimes been to the left of even the French Socialist Party. The party's real extremism is in social attitudes. That's why we added a social scale. Nevertheless, the more nationalistic and authoritarian a party or individual is, the more right-wing they're still labeled. This, of course, is absurd. Taken to its logical conclusion, means that the further left a country sits, the more socially liberal its attitudes are on that basis. North Korea must be the shining model of human rights and social freedom. Conversely, a country may be very right-wing, i.e. libertarian, in its economics, and be authoritarian at the same time. Singapore is a perfect example. The Index of Economic Freedom, produced by the Wall Street Journal and the Conservative Heritage Foundation, hails Singapore as the economically freest nation on earth in 2021. On the social scale, however, it's a very different story. Human Rights Watch details its reasons for finding Singapore a deeply authoritarian state. Wow, I actually came way to the center. I'm disappointed in myself. Yeah, the last time I took this test, I was here. Wow. All right. Give me the katana. It's time for the Z shape. I'm sad now. I might need to go get a drink after this. In fact, I think I'm gonna do this. I gotta power down the Instagram anyway because battery's dying on my phone. So let's finish that out. I'm sad. Now I'm really sad. How does this happen? I don't know. I think I need to go and get a drink. Alright, Sewell wants me to share his. Chaos Soul says it's the questions. It is. Alright. Let's figure that one out. That's Seawall's results. Economically, we're about the same at this point. But he is, as I said, far more authoritarian than I am. I am sad by mine. That makes me sad. Alright, I am going to get a drink. Because now I'm sad. Golden Leaf's going to go do that test. Yeah, the other test, the 8 values, is in the general chat in my Discord server. Right underneath the 283 likes and the fact that I'm famous. How does this happen? Alright. I will be right back. We'll throw some music back up here. I'm going to go get a drink. Something to quell the sadness here. And then we'll do the 8 values test. That's a 70 question test. Cheers to everybody who stuck around this far, as long. Well, I became disappointed in myself. I wanted to beat my high score, I really did. But I did answer everything as honestly as I could, so let's get back into the live chat here, see what you guys are doing. It is indeed a whiskey. My godmother got me, I don't know if I can get this up on, well, let's bring the full screen up here so I can actually see what's going on too. My godmother got me, yeah, there's too much reflection on there. You can kind of make out the shape of the Ford logo. A nice glass. And let me tell you, if the company who made this scotch was paying me, their bottle would be sitting right over here next to producer Pepe. I mean, hell, there's a reason. And I drink Bang energy drinks, but I don't drink them out of their can. Now, mind you, this is a Quick Trip glass, but I love Quick Trip, so this is not Bang energy. This is just regular water. But in the morning, I always use a glass like this, a cup like this, because Bang energy is not paying me. If they start paying me, I will start drinking their product out of their can on this webcam. Did you put a couple drops of water in there? Who the fuck do you think I am? No. This is straight. And unlike some people with saber teeth, I can drink this at room temperature. Alright, let's get into number 2. We're going to do the 8 values. So let's do a little review. Now, the other test I've done, this one I have never done before. So we'll see what happens with this one and where this goes. I don't know what to expect. I kind of knew that the other test was grabbled a little bit. I kind of knew that already. But this one, I didn't. What is 8 values? 8 values is in essence a political quiz that attempts to assign percentages for 8 different political values. You will be presented by a statement, and you'll answer with your opinion on the statement from strongly agree to strongly disagree, with each answer slightly affecting your scores. At the end of the quiz, your answers will be compared to the maximum possible for each value, thus giving you a percentage. Answer honestly. There are 70 questions on this test. What are the 8 values? There are 4 independent axes: economic, diplomatic, civil, and society. Each has 2 opposing values assigned to them. They are, on the economic sector, equality. Those with higher equality scores believe economies should distribute value evenly among the populace. They tend to support progressive tax codes, social programs, and at high value socialism. Versus markets. Those with high market scores believe the economy should be focused on rapid growth. They tend to support lower taxes, privatization, and deregulation, and at high values, laissez-faire capitalism. Diplomatic. Those with higher nation scores are patriotic and nationalistic. They often believe in an aggressive foreign policy, valuing the military strength and sovereignty, and at high values, territorial expansion. Versus the globe. Those with higher globe scores are cosmopolitan and globalist. They often believe in a peaceful foreign policy, emphasizing diplomacy, cooperation, and integration, and at high values, a world government. I want everybody to take these tests too, and go back and put them into the Discord. I'll bet $5 on that too. Have you ever tried it? I have. I have tried it before. I would just really prefer to drink it straight. I used to do it with ice. I didn't care for that very much. Man, it's been a while since I've had scotch. I quit drinking for a while. Technically, it's a processed refined sugar, so it's no good for my keto diet. But I'm really sad about the political compass test, so I'm going to make an exception for today. Civil. Liberty. Those with high liberty scores believe in strong civil liberties. They tend to support democracy and opposite state intervention in personal lives, or oppose rather state intervention in personal lives. Note that this refers to civil liberties, not economic liberties. Versus authority. Those with higher authority scores believe in strong state power. They tend to support state intervention in personal lives, government surveillance, and at high values, censorship or autocracy. This is the interesting one for me because I'm not very traditional, but I wouldn't consider myself to be a progressive. And this is for society. Tradition. Those with higher tradition scores believe in traditional values and strict adherence to a moral code. Though not always, they are usually religious and support the status quo or the status quo ante. Versus progress. Those with higher progress scores believe in social change and rationality. Though not always, they are usually secular or atheist and support environmental action and scientific or technological research. What's the closest match mean at the bottom of the results? In addition to matching you to the 8 values, the quiz also attempts to match you to a political ideology. This is a work in progress and is much less accurate than the values and axes, so don't take it too seriously. If you disagree with your assigned ideology, send us an email at 8values@gmail.com with your scores, matched ideology and preferred ideology, and we'll look into adjusting the system. Thanks. I don't like my scores. If you have any suggestions or constructive criticism, feel free to send it to 8values@gmail.com or open an issue on the GitHub page here, and that's the GitHub page. All right, so now that we know what's going on here, let's get into it. Click here to start. How can you read the description and make a decision after that? Knowing how I'm going to be put on that list, or this is actually from GitHub. This might be more a real test. I don't like my scores, LOL. All right, let's do it. 8 values. Let's see how it goes. Instructions. You will be presented with a series of statements. For each one, click the button with your opinion on it. Got it! Wait, never mind! No, we got it. Let's do this. 1 of 70. Oppression by corporations is more of a concern than oppression by governments. That's interesting. I would disagree because oppression by governments... I don't like oppression by any of them, obviously. That's why I won't go to strongly disagree, but oppression by governments is well worse. It's the problem we're having right now is that we're getting oppression by corporations at the behest of the government. But on a full-on scale, like if I actually have to pick one of these 5, I would say I disagree with this. If this test pisses me off, I can at least post a fork. It is necessary for the government to intervene in the economy to protect consumers. Actually, let me drop this down a little bit, so I can get the whole thing on the same page. It is necessary for the government. Nope. The freer the markets, the freer the people. I strongly agree with that. It is better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure the welfare for all citizens. I strongly agree with that. Publicly funded research is more beneficial to the people than leaving it to the market. I disagree with that. I really do. I don't know if I would fall to the strongly disagree with that, but I definitely disagree with that. The market will decide what needs to be researched and what doesn't, what needs to come forward, what new stuff we need to have. Can I go with strongly disagree with that? I can, actually. Tariffs on international trade are important to encourage local production. I disagree with that. I'm not 100% opposed to tariffs, because a lot of these other governments are putting them back onto us. But that frees up the market, in my eyes. Oh, if you're going to tariff us and protect yourselves, well, you're going to pay the exact same tariff to ship shit over here. And that's how I've actually always handled tariffs. If I'd ever become president, that's how I would handle tariffs. I would get a group of people together. I said, okay, find me the tariff rate for every product that every country is charging us for their protectionism, and we will reciprocate and give them the exact same tariff. It's not to encourage local production, though. It's just because I know the other countries are doing that. So I'm going to go with disagree on that. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Strongly disagree. This test is much less biased, still biased, but less so. Yeah, great tariff idea. Yeah, I would use tariffs as president to discourage other countries from using tariffs against us. That's how I would do it. Not necessarily to protect the American worker, but like I say, I know Japan has almost 100% tariff, or did at one point, the last time I looked, had 100% tariff on American cars into their country. It would be best if social programs were abolished in favor of private charity. I strongly agree with that. Taxes should be increased on the rich to provide for the poor. I strongly disagree with that. Taxation is theft. Marie maybe Golay. I shot the tariff. I like that. Inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth. Yes. Yes, it is. And furthermore, what you do with that inheritance determines how worthy you are to have that wealth. Because if you go blow it all on hookers and fucking blow, well, you didn't need to have that wealth anyway, and hey, now you don't have it anymore. Read it, dude. Read Section 1, Article 10 of the U.S. Constitution. What is it? What does it say? Do I have this backwards? There aren't 10 articles in the U.S. Constitution. Article 1, Section 10 limits the power of the states. That's for the Confederation. Alright, Article 1, Section 10. Article 1, Section 10 limits the power of the states. States may not enter into a treaty with foreign nations. That power is given to the President with the advice and consent of 2/3 of the Senate present. States cannot make their own money, nor can they grant any title of nobility. What's the text? That's the text. That's the text. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver, coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bills of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay imports or duties on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection laws, and the net produce of all duties and imposts laid by any state on imports and exports shall be for the use of the Treasury of the United States, and all such laws shall be subject to the revision and control of Congress. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state, or with any foreign power, or engage in war unless actually invaded, or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. Yeah, that gives the U.S. the authority to impose tariffs. Okay. Anyway, going back into the 8 values. Inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth. Yes, I strongly agree with that. Basic utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned. I disagree with that to an extent. I don't go strongly disagree off of that. With some of the problems, we're seeing this with some of the ideas with healthcare as a human right now. Because now these same leftoids who look at this and say healthcare is a human right are now saying that you should be denied healthcare at the government's behest. And that's what I don't want. But I also, the market isn't free enough. And we come to a point where, I mean, you can't run a wire alongside of each other to get to everybody's house either. So I'm a bit neutral on that, but for the most part I disagree. Everything should be private. Basically all these mandates are not being followed. Okay. Spartan says healthcare for all but non-white males is what the left wants. Possibly. Alright, let's see what Mr. Scott says. And I'll say I'm missing some other stuff here. Let's see. Spartan says rich people are the kings of theft. Let's see. Use iPie or iTurkey on DLive. Yeah, I might have got those. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. It says a lot, illustrates the follies of current policy. Basically, all those mandates are not being followed. Yeah, that's true. Healthcare for all but non-white males is what the left wants. Government intervention is a threat to the economy. Yeah, we're seeing that right now, actually. Those with greater ability to pay should receive better health care. I strongly agree with that. Quality education is a right of all the people. No. Quality of education is the right for all people to pursue, but your rights don't come from the government, they come from the creator. I disagree with that. Excuse me. The means of production should belong to the workers who use them. I disagree with that. Now, if you're an artisan, then yes, the means of production belong to you as the worker. But if a person's hiring you and giving you the equipment, no, the means of production belong to the person who's hired you, who's paying you. Like, the means of production for Turn Some Pages and for Ed Talk and Contemporary, those do belong to me. The computer, the webcam, the stuff like that. I would be more aligned with an artisan than an actual employee. But like my computer at work, that doesn't belong to me. The stock, that doesn't belong to me. The stock that I put away. The forklift, the stuff like that. No, none of that belongs to me. I didn't put up the money for that. Redacted put up the money for that. Everybody has the right to pursue education. So yes, I disagree with that. The UN should be abolished. Bye-bye, UN. I strongly agree with that. Military action by our nation is often necessary to protect it. See, this is a hard one. I'm going to go with disagree on this. But this is the kind of thing, because a military action for an invasion on our soil would be necessary to protect it. But we don't ever have that happen. And in fact, the military action in our nation is usually going around to other various places around the fucking world and playing war games and spending a bunch of Raytheon money. So I disagree with that. Based on the wording of it. Holy shit, you guys. Yeah, Seawall already got the 8 values done. Golden Leaf already did his political compass. So after that, we'll show theirs. But let me finish up with my 8 values first. Seawall must read faster than I do. You're a proponent of exclusion of knowledge. No, I'm a proponent of you don't have a right to somebody else's labor. That's what I'm a proponent of. And yes, teaching and education is somebody else's labor. Now, you can pursue somebody else's labor, but no, I am not a proponent. Or you can pursue the books, but you don't need the government to grant you the books. You can pursue them if you want to learn. I support regional unions, such as the European Union. I do not support that. But I'm only going to take that to a disagree because the European Union can do whatever the fuck they want as long as they leave me alone. And I don't live in the European Union, so of course they leave me the fuck alone. Let's see. It is important to maintain our national sovereignty. I agree with that. As long as it's on this soil. Like, there's nothing in Iraq that will help us maintain our national sovereignty. A united world government would be beneficial to mankind. Everybody knows how I'm going to answer that. It is more important to retain peaceful relations than to further our strength. I agree with that. I mean, it's important to go out with the handshake, but make sure you got that gun on your hip. Iraq has our freedom hidden underground. We have to suck it out. Wars do not need to be justified to other countries. I disagree with that. If you're going to aggress on another country, you better have a goddamn good reason. I strongly disagree with that, actually. Military spending is a waste of money. I agree. Enough military to maintain what we have going on in here, but there's also a gun behind every blade of grass. And the current amount of military spending we have here is a massive waste of money. International aid is a waste of money. I strongly agree with that. Very strongly. Unless we're getting something back, we shouldn't be giving money out to these other countries. Unless we're buying something from them. Who is Aaron Swartz? I don't know. Aaron Swartz. Computer program, it looks like. He hung himself. I don't know why that person's important. International aid is a waste of money. Yes. My nation is great. I agree, but I'm wavering. They're doing some really stupid shit right now. They're doing some really stupid shit right now. Research should be conducted on an international scale. If there's an international benefit to it, yeah, absolutely. That's one of those markets decide things. Governments should be accountable to the international community. No. Now, if they're aggressing on other people, that's one thing. That's where we're not going to go. Strongly disagree with that. But for the most part, if they're over there, if the Ukraine decides that they all want to collectively... If the government of the Ukraine decides that they want to collectively force everybody to go beat their meat at the same time at 5 o'clock local time on a Friday, that's none of Russia's fucking business why they're doing that. But if the Ukraine launches a Scud missile into Moscow, then they should be held accountable because they aggressed. But for the most part, no. We told the international community on July 4th of 1776 that they could fuck themselves. Aaron Swartz posted proprietary university knowledge publicly in torrents, and then they killed him. Yeah, it sounds like something they would do. I could see that happening. And then try to tell us that he died by hanging. Yeah, I could see that. Even when protesting an authoritarian government, violence is not acceptable. I strongly disagree. If the authoritarian government is going to bring violence to you, guess what we're bringing back to them? My religious values should be spread as much as possible. I agree, and I'd like to spread the good word of it, but I'm not going to use a sword to do it. I do have an acquaintance, I wouldn't call him a friend because he fucking hates me, who believes that if we find a group of volcano worshippers out there, that they should be taught Christianity. And if they will not accept Christianity, then they should be killed. His initials are NS. I'm sure some of the people watching this know who he is. If they will not accept Christ, they should be killed, according to him. I don't agree with that, but I would like to spread the good news. I would like more people to come to know Christ. Our nation's values should be spread as much as possible. Once again, by word of mouth, by sharing the good news, not by a gun. I agree with that. I think everybody should have a little bit more liberty. Our values, not our actions, of course, because our actions kind of blow. It is very important to maintain law and order. This is double-spoken. I'm going to disagree with that because I know where they're trying to go with this. They're trying to go with have a government maintain law and order because the government makes the laws. Which, to an extent, I agree with that. If the government's going to make the laws, they should be responsible for enforcing them. But there's an extent of a natural equilibrium that will come out if you don't have somebody maintaining law and order as well. I'm neutral on that one. This is one of the few ones I'm going to be neutral on. The general populace makes poor decisions. Minneapolis last May. I can see that. Physician-assisted suicide should be illegal. I actually disagree with that. On a very, very moral level. Now, I disagree, actually strongly disagree with that, because suicide is never the right answer. But physician-assisted too, that makes another person a murderer. No, I don't agree. I strongly disagree with that. The sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to protect us from acts of terrorism. I strongly disagree with that. The fucking Patriot Act. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world. Nope. The very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. I am not super libertarian like Kurt or Joshua Smith. I know that people are going to gather, and my ideas of liberty are not compatible with, especially a lot of soccer mom America. My way of looking at this, and I'm going to say agree on this one, but my way of looking at this is people can have as much government as they want, as long as they keep it over there and get off my lawn. I mean, once it gets on the lawn, the smell gets there, you can never get it the fuck off. Regardless of political opinions, it is important to side with your country. Disagree. All authority should be questioned. Yes. A hierarchical state is best. I disagree with that. It's going to happen naturally. The people who are good at selling stuff or making stuff are going to come into a higher hierarchy, naturally. Then the people who want to walk around jerking their meat, playing video games, but not on camera. But I'm going to disagree with this because they're talking about government enforcement of a hierarchical state, and I don't believe in that. It is important that the government follows the majority opinion, even if it's wrong. This is hard. And I'm going to disagree because there should be individuality in all of this. The government should just be staying out of our lives. If the majority opinion is that you said a naughty word on the internet 25 years ago, so all your bank accounts should be shut down, that's wrong. And no, I strongly disagree with that. The stronger the leadership, the better. I agree with that. The strong leaders don't need to force their will. by pistol whipping the people that are following them. A strong leader can convince people to take up arms on their own volition, or to take up a social cause on their own volition. They don't need to use the force of a state or punishment to do so. I agree with that. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. Well, yes, it's also a tyranny. I agree with that. Environmental regulations are essential. I strongly disagree with that. A better world will come from automation, science, and technology. Eventually, I agree with that. But new jobs are going to pop up from that. What are we going to do with all the horse trainers now that everybody's got a car? We're going to put all these people out of business. Dude, our economy roared after that. I agree with that. Children should be educated in religious or traditional values. At home, they should, but not by the state. They should know their traditions, and they should have the opportunity to learn their traditions and decide whether they want to take them or not. Yeah, I agree with that. Traditions are of no value on their own. I disagree with that. Religion should play a role in government. I strongly disagree with that. What do we got going on over here? Oh, let's see. Aaron Swartz killed himself like Epstein did. NS is Nancy Sinatra. No, not Nancy Sinatra. He's a former bear. You guys know who he is. Beat me up, Mr. Scott says, I'll fight your friend and win, and be home in time for cornflakes. Bet me $5. You're starting to see through these quizzes. Yeah, no, I understand where these are coming from. Chaotic neutral confirmed. Not legal. So what about getting your dog put down? I don't agree with that either. And yes, I have had a dog. Agree or disagree, humans are animals. No environmental regulations. My thing with environmental regulations is that if you actually free up the market and people can't hide their documents off of this, if they do shady environmental shit, no matter how cheaply they make your weenie whistle, if they do it with environmentally shady shit, nobody's going to buy your Oscar Mayer. No matter how cheaply they make the weenie whistle. That's why I don't believe in environmental regulations, because it's one of the things that the private market can do on its own. In fact, my tactic for environmental regulation was always, if I was president, the EPA would be gone, environmental regulation would be gone. And the trade-off will be, you have to document and make public how you dispose of your waste, how you dispose of your smokestacks, your hazardous waste, your regular trash. That all has to be public record. Let the people decide whether or not you succeed or fail. Wow, I didn't think I was that fucking drunk already. But let the people decide. Because if you're spewing smoke out there and it's in their backyard, that's the other thing. It's in their backyard. These people who are calling for environmental regulations are fucking NIMBYists. They don't care how much pollution goes out as long as it's over in India and China and Singapore, places like that. As long as they get their cheap shit coming in from the California port. But if you start putting this shit in their backyard, they're going to start caring in a hurry. In a hurry. Churches should be taxed the same as other institutions are taxed. I strongly disagree. Well, I strongly disagree they should be taxed the same way other institutions are taxed. I don't think anybody should be taxed. Climate change is currently one of the greatest threats to our way of life. I disagree with that. I don't agree with man-made climate change. I think that there's some, but the majority of this is just the Earth shifting in its climatological positions. And these leftoids are completely in God complex if they think they can change it. But we'll adapt, we'll change things, and we'll find new ways to control the environment. That's what's made humanity for the last, 4,000 years if you believe in the Bible to its word, or billions of years if you believe the Darwinists to their word. That's what made humanity humanity. So no, I disagree with that. It is important that we work as a united world to combat climate change. I disagree with that as well. Because once again, you have a God complex if you think you're going to get rid of climate change. Society was better many years ago than it is now. I agree with that. I agree with that. We might even have to go strongly with that. Because, man, we are spiraling right now as a society. It is important that we maintain the traditions of our past. Yes, I agree with that strongly. It is important that we think in the long term beyond our lifespans. I do agree with that. I mean, regardless, it's not going to affect you, but I mean, you do want to have. I want to have a bunch of kids. I want to have a bunch of grandkids. I used to grow the best weed in Denver. What else do we have going on over here? I agree, there's the weenie whistle, but there's actually a mode of operation that is copacetic. Personal cap and trade, says Marie. I agree that environmental issues are being hijacked by the left. I've yet to see the left adopt a highway, and that's the other thing too. Like, if you're really concerned about environmentalism, if you're concerned about carbon, taxing another corporation and giving them a carbon tax that they can go back and spew more shit into the air, but still have to pay you money to go spew that shit into the air, and still keep their books closed at it, by the way, is not going to do a goddamn thing. Go back and plant a tree. Plant a stalk of corn. Make a garden if you're worried about carbon. Plant stuff. Pick up the trash in your yard, in your local park. Focus on what you can do, not what the government can do for you, if you're that concerned about it. And you should always make sure that your room is very clean before you go out and expect other people to clean up their acts. You should look at your room. Make sure that that's clean. Okay? Okay, bucko? 100% agree. Global warming and carbon tax is BS. I used to grow the best weed in Denver. If you plant plants with excess CO2, they grow faster. Plants growing is a literal carbon fixation. Highly said, speak softly and carry a big stick. Reason is more important than maintaining our culture. I'm unsure of that because I don't know what they mean by that. I think we should definitely maintain our culture because, I mean, the one we got right now is spiraling out of fucking control. Yeah, I'm gonna go with agree on that. That's a buggy fucking worded question, though. That's a bad one. Why does that happen? 23 says if they put I think he's going to say environmental taxes on businesses, small businesses will fold in themselves. Yeah, that's one of the other sides of it too. A lot of these regulations, they do crush smaller businesses, competitors that would jump up. Meanwhile, Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos can just, start handing over more dollar bills to go fix this stuff, and his competition, that takes all of his budget to comply with environmental regulations. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Why does that happen, 23? Thank you. I have a 3D pic of Bubba Kush that I'm thinking of making an NFT. I don't know enough about NFTs. I know what it is, but I don't know really anything about it. I'm going to go with agree on this. Drug use should be legalized or decriminalized. Strongly agree. Let nature sort itself out. Same-sex marriage should be legal. I strongly agree with that too. Because I don't give a fuck about the state contract of marriage. I really don't. And if they want to get a religious ceremony from a church, that should be between them and the church. Just if the church is going to give that over, remind me not to go to that church. But no, government marriage is bullshit. So I strongly agree with that. No cultures are superior to other cultures. I strongly disagree with that. Going back, the culture that sent a man to the moon is far superior to the culture that pulls a man's beating heart out of his chest on an altar. I strongly disagree with this. Sex outside of a marriage is immoral. I disagree with that. This goes back to the other test that we did. If we accept migrants at all, it is important that they assimilate to our culture. Yes, I agree with that. I really do. If you want to come here because your culture sucks, then adapt to ours. Don't try to make our country into the same shitty country you just fucking left. Yes, bring some of your values, some of your traditions in, but don't try to make our country into the shitty one you just left. Yeah, I agree with that. I actually pretty strongly agree with that. I'm pro-immigration though, so just not in the way it's currently set up. Abortion should be prohibited in most or all cases. I do agree with that. If you don't want to have the baby, don't put that there. That's simple. Gun ownership should be prohibited for those without a valid reason. Fuck you. Here's my reason for owning a gun. Because fuck you, that's why. No, of course I strongly disagree with that. I support single-payer universal health care. No, you can fuck yourself. The government getting involved in insurance was the worst thing that happened to healthcare. Prostitution should be illegal. No. It should be shamed by society, but having the government involved in it, no. It's just like drugs too with prostitution. If you're into this because you're so deep onto everything, it's the only way you can keep your kids fed. And then it's illegal on top of it, you can't go out to get help while you're in the commission of that crime. Now, what that goes on between two consenting adults, not my business. It should be shamed, but it shouldn't be illegal. It should be highly shamed, but it shouldn't be illegal. So yes, I strongly disagree with that. Maintaining family values is essential. I do agree with that because, well, as the state tries to step in and become more of the parent, more of mommy and daddy, we lose more and more of our society. And we drift closer and closer to live in the pod, eat the bugs. But using the government force to do so, I do disagree with. But I will take this as an agree. To chase progress at all costs is dangerous. Yes. I strongly agree with that. But that's a weasel-worded question too. They want you to feel guilty about the fact that we're not going to be progressive. We're not going to progress our society. No, to do it at all costs is dangerous. Genetic modification is a force for good, even on humans. I disagree with that. Now, if you're doing it like to get a different strain of corn, that'll feed more people, that's one thing. But to come in and to try and, you know, choose your baby's eye color, your baby's hair color, no, I do disagree with that. We should open our borders to immigration. No! Because if you import the entire third world at once, nobody's going to have any wages left. Governments should be as concerned about foreigners as they are about their own citizens. I strongly disagree with that. If you're going to come and seek power over people, you're an asshole first off. But if you're going to come in and seek power over people, then you should be concerned about your own people. Not the kids down the street. We're almost done. All people, regardless of factors like culture or sexuality, should be treated equally. Yes. Yes, they should. And if they treat you like shit, you treat them like shit. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason to divide somebody by culture, race, ethnicity, anything like that. If you're cool, you're cool. If you like to suck on the veiny cigar, that's cool. Don't ask me to do it. Last one. It is important that we further my group's goals above all others. That's a fucking loaded question if there is anyone. Of course, my group's values are the best. No, all groups should have their goals play out and then compete to who has the best fucking goals. There should be a natural competition in there. No, I disagree with that. Let the market of ideas compete, and whoever's idea is the best is going to float to the top. And sometimes people are going to punch each other out over it. Alright. So that's a disagree. My results. Economic access. Capitalist. 83.3% to the markets versus 16.7% to equality. Diplomatic access is patriotic slightly, 61.7% to 38.3%. I'm a little surprised by that. Civic access, liberal. I'm actually a little surprised it didn't go further in the yellow direction. But some of those were very, very loaded. Societal access is neutral. I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit more given over to tradition, obviously, but I know that there's got to be a balance in there, and I know that it's got to be taken. I'm a little surprised as to how center I was in all these. Closest match? Ultra-capitalism. That's, I'm quite interested in how that came out, actually. I really am. I'm not surprised by the market side. Actually, once again, I'm a little surprised that I got that far into equality. Because, I mean, if you put a ridged nose and a couple of big ears on me and shave the top of my fucking head, I'm pretty much a Ferengi anyway. Beat me up, Mr. Scott is going to go. He is... I think he might be drunk, but... yeah, that's what it is. I'm an ultra-capitalist. I'm not surprised. I'm not. And Seawall said that I could show his too, so let's get that one up here. Seawall is a neocon, which I kind of knew that. Very moderate on civil access. Very traditional on societal access. Knowing him, I'm not surprised by this. Capitalist. I am a little bit more market oriented than he is, but yeah, I can see that. I really am a Ferengi though. Holy shit. Like I said, I'm not surprised. So that's what we have. Why does that happen? 23 says, he close to me, I got conservatism. Yeah, I'm pretty ultra-capitalist. Alright. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I like that. Little surprised by the political compass. Little surprised that I moved inward. But, I mean, definitely that's what it is. Alright, should we go play some video games? I still have a bunch of energy in me, and I still haven't drank all this drink. I think we should do that. What do you think? Let's change up the titles. Alright, I'm going to save these. We're going to talk about these probably later on here, but yeah, I think it's time to go play some Fallout. Also figure out why my titles didn't change. That's weird. But I changed this all before. So all the Twitch people were probably confused by that. Alright, well, I've got the titles changed. I've got everything else changed. Actually, let's change the rest of this too. Update titles. Alright, with that, we'll save the rest of these. Let's go play some video games. Get the chat up here for you guys. just want to change the screen I have for monitor. It has been a while since we played as Lucinda. I don't even know where the hell I was the last time we played. Alright, let's see if we can't figure out where I was. Last one that we did was, or we were going to do, was Green Top Nursery. Oh, and then, that's right. Because we're starting Automatron right now. That's where I was. And I came back to get power armor for Automatron.
Hard to believe I'm roaming with my own pre-war relic.
Alright. So I have armor for me. Do I have armor for you? Yes, I do.
Hey. What can I do? Of course.
Piper's power armor has no legs.
Oh boy.
And I've only got 6 cores myself, so 220 out of 310 for carry weight. You out of here, Chilaga? Thanks. Well, thanks for sticking around for that. I'm gonna go play Automatron now. I can say this, my settlements are way happier in this game than they were in my last one. I don't want to go over here just yet. And I got wasted almost immediately.
Maybe constantly trying to kill us, but the Commonwealth never lacks for excitement.
Alright, well, where are you?
Hey. Shoot. Yep. Oh boy.
use this one. I want to know which one of these things has a railway rifle, by the way. I have an automated this yet. Die.
Attention, people of the Commonwealth. I, the Mechanist, have come to bring about your protectors, and they will not rest until the Commonwealth is together. We will restore justice and bring about the dawn of a new age.
Ow.
Attention, people of
Well, that was a pain in the ass. What do you expect in riflemen or automatic weapons? More auto than anything. I don't know, I should be finding where I'm supposed to be going in this game by level 35, but apparently I don't think I'm there yet. You need to try to get the Overseer's Guardians. Alright. Ava, where the fuck did you go? Why is Ava moonwalking?
My friends did not survive the attack. Thank you for assisting. I was certain to meet my end here as well.
Are you okay?
Physically, the damage is minor, but I am registering sadness and anger at the loss of my friends. It may sound strange coming from a robot, but
Holy
they
shit,
were
this is glitchy.
family. Again, I thank you for your efforts. I know they would have thanked you as well.
I'm sorry for your loss.
You are leaving?
Hey, Ada.
My friends did not survive the attack. Thank you for assisting. I was certain to meet my end here as well.
Why is this being glitchy?
I don't believe we were finished.
Ada.
My friends did not survive the attack. Thank you for assisting. I was certain to meet my end here as well.
What kind of robot are you?
I am heavily modified, but at my core, I am an Assaultron. You are leaving?
Okay. We gotta figure out what's going on here. Let me see if I can fast travel in and out and see if it fixes it. I'd have to leave and come back. Yeah, that's what we're gonna see if we can figure out.
Hey, Ada.
My friends did not survive the attack. Thank you for assisting. I was certain to meet my end here as well.
What kind of robot are you?
I am heavily modified, but at my core, I am an Assaultron. My name is Ada. This was the 3rd time we've been attacked by robots like these. Even with the weapon and detection upgrades Jackson gave me, I was unable to defend them.
Who's Jackson?
Jackson was the leader of this caravan. He had a great mind for technology. In many ways, he is my creator. He installed all my current upgrades. Unfortunately, they were not enough to protect them from the robots.
You're upgraded?
Yes, modified using a robot workbench based on prototype schematics. The workbench allows for a wide range of robot modifications. Perhaps if I had more sentry bot-based defenses, I could have successfully defended my friends against those robots.
Tell me about these robots.
They roam the Commonwealth and claim to be restoring order. We've seen them fighting raiders, but they've also attacked innocents, settlers, merchants, and caravans like ours. We knew we ran the risk of encountering more of these hostile robots if we stayed in the Commonwealth. If only we had made the decision to leave.
You couldn't have known something like this would happen.
The probability of attack was high. I should have forced our departure. In recompense, I will seek justice for my friends and stop these robots from causing further harm. It's time to uncover the source and confront their leader, the Mechanist.
The rifle is in Vault 81. It's a 2-shot combat rifle.
You'll need help if you want to succeed.
I'm aware of this. You have shown willingness to aid others. I ask that you please assist me in stopping this Mechanist. In return, I can give you the schematics to build your own robot workbench, so you have additional resources in this undertaking.
What's a robot workbench?
The robot workbench will allow you to create and modify your own robots, given enough resources.
I'll do it.
I wish I had the proper vocal registry to express my gratitude. Now, we last saw a group of the Mechanist robots at the General Atomics factory. You may find information there that will lead us to the Mechanist. I will follow and assist with your permission.
Yeah. Let's go, Ada.
General Atomics has valuable salvage. Chances are high the robots are still there.
And I will send Piper back to Sanctuary. Alright. And then once we get back to Sanctuary, and off to the General Atomics. I like this quest a lot. Like, this DLC was probably... I wouldn't say it was my favorite, but it was up there. I really enjoyed this a lot. But we have got to go down the pike. It is a bit of a pain in the ass to get here, too. But I'm going to try and go a different direction than I did before. But if not, we'll go down the Mass Pike instead. why you just walked up to that car that was about to blow up, but Godspeed, Ada.
Nothing there now.
Shook up over nothing.
Being non-organic, these rats won't affect me. You?
This is
That's
gonna
it.
be
We
fun.
may have an enemy.
Yeah.
That's the last of them.
No, it's not. There's one thing I know about raiders, there's never just one. Oh, I did level up, didn't I? I'll be your local hotline for Fallout 4 tips and other stuff. I think I'm doing just fine on Fallout 4 tips. I'm further ahead in this and my other game than I was in the last one. Scavenger's lead. I'll hold off on that one for now. So then we'll be coming back to that later. Somewhere around here is the combat zone too, I think. There's a lot of shit around here. Shit.
Who's there?
Weapons.
Fine. Get your shit.
Spread out! Find him!
grab the combat zone, shall we?
They're gone.
Better go deal with some work stuff. Thanks, Leibt.
Safety's on. Riddance.
Sweet.
Impressive. Couldn't have done it better myself.
This ain't no place for you.
Go on in. I'll take care of you.
And that concludes this round. Kate is the undisputed winner! And who's this? Wait, who let you? Lady, I'd find some cover, quick.
Looks like someone got lost. Time's up.
Back up over here.
Hey, Ron's over here. Ron Helton. Just in time for some Fallout 4.
That one was dizzying anyway.
Your destruction is at hand. I'll cover you, man.
Ha! Not bad. Shut up, just run! Something's broken.
Resistance is futile.
Come on, you bitch. Yeah, throw another Molotov on.
Well, aren't you the dangerous one?
Engaging hostile target.
You think they got out there?
We don't want any trouble. Not anymore, at least.
Oh, just peek your head up, you damn coward.
To heck with that. I'm too pretty to go out like this.
Got up to a nice 65 today. Woke up
Finish
late.
tearing the place up
Yeah,
now.
it was pretty warm here, actually.
Why don't you come over here? Show us you don't mean no harm.
Why don't you shut your fucking mouth and I'll decide whether or not I mean harm.
Hey! You all done killing each other? Look, whoever's out there, we were rooting for you the whole time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So you wanna talk this out like civilized folk? Or are you just gonna bash on my theater some more? Is it over? Well, that could've gone worse.
I dunno. Seemed quite the performance from where I was standing.
Are you fucking high or something? Why am I asking? Of course you are.
Still won the fight, didn't I?
You're strung out and getting sloppy, is what you are. Of course, I suppose you ain't gotta worry about that now. Seems this one just put us out of business. I'm not sure if I should kiss you or have my little bird here feed you your own entrails.
I told you to quit calling me that.
I'm sorry? It just seemed like you guys might be in trouble.
Trouble? Nah. But keeping those idiots entertained.
60s and the 70s in November.
Exactly sure what we're gonna
Yeah, my Wisconsin buddy
hell
doesn't know
with
what to
them.
do with that.
More'll come. Just need a quick breather and I'll be ready to go.
Oh, breather. What? So you can slam more of that junk into your arm now. Now, you know what? I think this was a blessing in disguise. You caught the end of that bout. What'd you think of Kate's work?
She's clearly talented.
See? At least someone knows skill when they see it.
It ain't your fighting skills I'm concerned with. So here's my predicament. I suddenly got no audience. No audience means I got no caps coming in. And if you ain't bringing in caps, little bird, you ain't an asset. You're a liability. To me, and to yourself. So, here's what I'm thinking. What say I let you take over her contract? She goes with you, watches your back. Look, you'd be doing me a favor while I try to get the place back in order. What do you say?
Me. And her.
Sure. I could use someone watching my back.
Good. It's settled then. And here, take this. It's the purse from the last fight. Exterminator's fee.
Now just wait a second. What exactly are you gonna do without me here?
You don't need to worry about me. I'll get this place set up right. Maybe find a less blood-soaked clientele. Now get the hell out of here. You ain't welcome anymore, little bird.
You're a real son of a bitch. You know that, Tommy?
You don't have to tell me.
I guess you just come find me then when you want to head out.
Alright, well that's done. So now we can take Kate as a companion, which Kate is like her companion quest is really good. I like that. I just did that in my other game. So I'm not going to take her right now because we're in the middle of Automatron.
I suggest we take as much as we can carry.
I'm going to take some of this food and stuff. Especially the aluminum, because I'm going to need that pretty quick.
Gotta be something of value on him.
That's it.
At least I can take some time to replenish all the fucking stim packs from that last bitch of a fight. I'm a little surprised this isn't a settlement, like there isn't a workbench here either, because it's got all the stuff for it. It's got every workbench, plenty of storage space, like literally every workbench. bodies, all the carnage.
Hey,
Get away from me. I swear, if I wasn't tied down.
Then what?
excuse me.
How about you pester someone else?
I'm trying to set you free, you jack off. Fine, fuck you. Execute the raider. I should. He was an ass to me. No, I want to let him sit there tied up. Executing him would be too quick at this point.
You gotta be joking.
Well, I mean, if you want to fight.
Let's take him out.
Alright. So we still have to get out to General Atomics.
What's that? Someone there? What? I have something no fight today.
The super mutants are here.
Nice.
Let me take care of you before you. Oh, shit. Let me dispatch you before you tell your friends you're here, that I'm here.
Get him, man.
Oh, shit. I might have picked a fight I can't win. Or she may have picked a fight that we can't win.
Prepare to be annihilated. Violence protocols engaged.
Take her out!
That's them. That's enough of them. Kaboom!
Any idea where they went?
Scorpion out of nowhere, that's new.
No more hiding for you.
Fine, these fuckers.
People of the Common, I, the Mechanist, have come to bring about an age of peace. Do
Goodbye.
not be alarmed. These robots are your allies, your protectors, and they will not rest until the Commonwealth is saved. Together, we will restore justice and bring about the dawn of a new age. Attention,
Okay, the worst part
people
about
of
stopping
the
this right
Common.
now is the fact I have to
I,
listen
the
to that fucker.
Mechanist, have come to bring about an age of peace. Do not be alarmed. These robots are your allies, your protectors, and they will not rest until the Commonwealth is saved.
On the target.
Together, we will restore justice and bring about the dawn of a new age.
Text me when you're done, can't hang for the dumb video game.
I, the Mechanist, have come to bring about an age of peace. Do not be alarmed. These robots are your allies, your protectors, and they will not rest until the Commonwealth is saved. Together, we will restore justice and bring about the dawn of a new age. Attention, people of the Common. I, the Mechanist, have come to bring about an age of peace. Do not be alarmed. These robots are your allies, your protectors, and they will not rest until the Commonwealth is saved.
I hate Assaultrons!
Oh shit!
Oh, that's where you were. this first. I gotta get around the fucking bay yet, too. I'm losing frames, I can tell you that.
Sweet.
Protectors, and they will not rest until the Commonwealth is saved.
This is an emergency message to all Commonwealth Army soldiers. Emergency protocols 17 Echo Charlie 9er are in effect.
Fuck.
If you are in distress, please proceed to the South Boston Military Checkpoint for aid. Coordinates are available in your emergency handbook. This checkpoint has been designated as a safe house in case of enemy invasion, and is currently stocked with additional food, water, and ammunition. This safe house is for military personnel.
Let me have this one.
remember correctly, this area used to be overrun by super mutants. But if I remember correctly, there's also about to be a jump scare somewhere here.
Out there! Somewhere!
Let's get this done.
Ow. Rad-powered metal left leg grants additional strength the higher your rads.
Find anything useful? They're gone.
No, they're still here.
I'll cover you, man.
Okay. So... Jesus Christ, another one? And I'm out of bullets. Die. Yeah, I'm probably not going to make it out of this. I don't have a high enough gun skill to fuck around with. Cocksucker. I am losing frames again, aren't I? Fortifying leather right leg. +1 strength and endurance. Yes, I'll take that. This is, by the way, a really good place to stock. Because it's covered in meat bags that always have some sort of random loot in them. Caps, ammo. My neck is starting to get sore. I'm dropping frames left and fucking right. And it is getting late. Four-leaf fish packing plant.
Make sure you don't leave anything useful behind.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they're just going to give me a stim pack. We're taking out a ghoul. More adhesives is always welcome. And a safe. Randomly outdoors. Fuck yeah. I'm not shy. And a fusion core. That's good, because the one that I have is just about dead. Some food. Yeah, I think it's going to be about time to power this one down. Let's get the map marker for General Atomics. Then we'll run back home and pick some stuff. Grab that level up too. That is where they want us to be right now. I'm not going to take the thing. Alright. Let's go home. Heal wounds.
Bit different for you. Our scouts have found a promising spot for a new settlement. Once you clear it out, set up a radio beacon to let settlers know about it. Before you know it, we'll have a thriving new farm instead of a wasteland. We'll take back the Commonwealth, one piece at a time.
Yeah, he'll do that through the rest of the game. He will, that one.
What are you building?
Doesn't fucking matter, Garvey. Take some time though and actually look at this robotics one. So we can modify all robots now, and we can make brand new ones too. I can make her into a Protectron or an Assaultron. No amount of adhesive. But yeah, now we can definitely go and build Ada up to be whatever it is that we want her to be, which for the most part I'm going to try to do is carry weight because, you know, that's what I always do. I make my companions into pack mules. We will need to scrap, I think. Scrap and sell. Can't make anything for this.
It's always fascinating watching you create.
But, yeah, I think I'm going to power it down for now. We'll come back tomorrow, we'll do some more off of this. But, that's it. We're done. Alright, well, I got some work to do here, so I'm going to go get that taken care of. I know we're going to take care of, make sure that Katie Z is up on the same page and everything else. But I do want to thank everybody who came by and chatted with me and helped me along with the political compass test. It was definitely interesting. I never, like I say, I'm not dissatisfied with the results. I'm a little dissatisfied with the fact that I moved in towards the center with everything else, but yeah, I think we're going to head out of here. Let's go find somebody to raid, shall we? Who's playing right now? Skeletora? Let's go to Skeletora. I like Skeletora. She's fun. Let's go check her out. I don't even know. It looks like there's only just me watching anyway, but yeah, let's head over there. Let's go have some fun. Thanks everybody once again, and we're going to head out of here. So we will see you next time. Maybe we'll do some more of this tomorrow, and that'll be it. So take care, everyone.